Hi, we're Martha.
Steven.
And Mark.
And this is Code Comment, where the Nice Games Club game devs inspect the actual code, assets, and design of an indie game in development. In this episode, we take a look inside the shell of Clawbreaker, the crab-fighting game Steven and I worked on.
So let's start. All right, Steven.
I think you need to move the mouse on it. Yeah.
Oh.
It's got one of them. We never fixed this.
Okay, where are we going?
Anywhere? Oh, my
Random.
controller's not on. That's what the problem is.
So we're going to take a look at how this game is made first, but before that, Steven and I are going to play it so you see how it plays.
Yes.
Are you ready?
Yes.
All right, here we go.
Okay. If I lose, it's because my controller wasn't on?
Uh-huh.
Dang it! Oh, I'm supposed to keep those two minimal. Okay. Wow. Okay.
I the winner.
Oh, man. Oop. Oh, stars. Man, those are good sounds. I haven't heard these sounds in a while.
So this is a new video format for us. We've been talking with a lot of different game developers in our community, and we realized that all of us make games differently.
As the winner again.
Yay!
Have you had enough?
Okay, I guess. You can keep playing.
No, I think I'm okay stopping while I'm ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, so Martha, why don't you get us out of play mode?
Okay.
And this is the Unity project. So tell me, and so you guys both worked on this game.
Yes.
Yes.
And I did not, which is why I'm so good at it. And Steven, you're just the worst.
Right, yeah. The development skills don't translate to gameplay.
Not at all. So tell me a bit about this. Tell me the story of this game. Where did it start?
Well, me and Steven in 2015 were at the Midwest Game Jam.
Mm-hmm.
And we worked with a huge team of developers. There were like 7 of us or something.
Yeah, which is pretty big for a game jam.
Yeah, so we each did different parts of the project, and then we decided we wanted to keep working on it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we're going to release it soon. So you can all buy it on Steam and itch.
Yes. Yeah. In fact, this is where I met Martha first, was at this event.
It's true, yeah.
So our friendship is as long as this game has been around. Wow.
Could you maybe find like the very first part of the project? Like, is it in there? Do you have any idea this many years later?
Well, there's some developer art that I made that's over here.
Ooh, let's take a look.
Is it in images? Yes.
So you guys worked on this in 2015, but it's not like you've been working on it nonstop since then.
No.
Really, the development time on this is relatively short, just spread out over a long time.
Actually, yeah. So like what happened is we developed it. The game jam was 24-hour game jam. And so we spent that much time working on it. And then we felt like there was potential. So we came back to it and spent, I want to say, maybe another few days on it.
Yeah.
Like at 5 hours at a time. Not even 5 hours, like 3 hours each session for like 5 days. And then we added all this extra stuff in. And then like over the next 2 years, we like added some polish.
Yeah.
And stuff. But like not a lot of work after that, after those sessions. So what you have here is really what we've been doing.
Yeah, you can see the original Game Jam had, like this is Lizzie's first level design back then. So like you can see how the beach used to look like this.
Yeah.
Now it looks like this. Coral.
That's the new coral reef.
This is the old coral reef.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually really impressive that she was able to get these 3 backgrounds done
I know.
in 24 hours.
Like I say, actually, it all looks really good, but you can see in the version 2, it's more of this is what the design is. It feels more like it's a result of iteration.
Yep.
Where it doesn't seem like it's the better version. It just, like in terms of the art, it just seems more of the this is what the game became, rather than working on everything all at once, which is how you do in a game jam.
Right.
So that's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for another art thing is when we first started designing the game, and Steven, you were working on a lot of the like level loading and making sure that you could move your crab around.
Yeah.
And so we had this cube as your crab.
Yes.
And then we had my crab claws, which I basically just I traced some that Lizzie had. Lizzie was doodling stuff on whiteboards and stuff while we were. She was designing the crabs with Ava, and so I just took a picture of it and like drew over it in Photoshop and then put that in here. And then so it was, for a long time it was a box with these white crab ones off of it, and it looked very weird.
That's what you want in developer art, though, is like its own thing that isn't going to be mistaken for final art. Or you don't fall in love with as final art, that you fall in love with as, janky dev art.
Right. Yeah. I think back then the only art thing I could use was paint. So you can make cubes pretty quick in paint.
Yeah.
We also had like ambitions for more different colored crabs. Like we have teal and coral colored. We also were wanting to do purple. So here's the sprite sheets for the different crabs. It's pink, and then we had like dark blue crab.
Oh, cool.
Blue crab.
What? It's a 2-player game. So, what impeded that progress? The jam probably.
Yeah.
It was largely just that. Yeah.
And then we decided that we would have to code something in that would let you change colors.
Like a selector sort of thing.
Yeah. And in the UI, we had the different colored crabs. So then we'd have to change something. So Charles did most of the UI, Steven's brother. And so he has his own, let's see.
But it's interesting, all this time later, like you could certainly go back and add that in, but I think the game's design is it's so fast moving of a game, like that you get in and out of a match very quickly. So, when Steve and I were playing, we just did a quick restart, but like you see people battle like 15-second battles, and then you just mash A and start over right away.
Yeah.
And you can get 30 matches going in under 30 minutes. And that's part of the charm of the game. And so character select doesn't seem that exciting. And also having this, the red and green makes it feel canonical in a way. Like you could have like rooting for your, you know what I mean? And so
the green team.
I could totally see the argument for having a bunch of colors because they all look great. But I totally see why you didn't add that later, because it isn't sort of core to it necessarily. It's really cool. Yeah. So you mentioned a couple of members of the team. So how many people were doing code? How many people doing arts? What was who did what?
So I did a lot of, as Martha was saying, I did a lot of the level stuff, and also like crab movement.
Yeah.
And then my brother did the UI and things.
Ava was game design. Lizzie was art. Charles was UI stuff.
And Nick did sounds. That was the first time he ever done sounds. He just wanted to experiment. So he's like, I'm going to try this. And he did a good job. I think the sounds are pretty great.
And we're just listing off names of people you might not be familiar with, but it's a bunch of people just circling this community. And it's interesting that you guys all came together on this project because Stephen, you work with your brother, of course, but like this team didn't get together for a sequel or anything.
No.
It's kind of just an interesting amalgam of folks in this community got together for this thing. And it all happened before I met any of you.
Yes.
Which is sort of interesting. The first Glitch event I ever came to was the Midwest Game Jam playtest or showcase or something where everyone just brought the games they had done. And the first time I met any of you, even in any casual way, was right after you made this thing, which is sort of interesting. But so, Steven, I was hearing you actually, most of the code is yours.
Yes.
Like in terms of volume.
Yes.
Right?
If you can look at the scripts, Martha.
Yeah.
There's like only 10 of them. It's
where is it?
Yeah. There's only 10 scripts.
Wow.
It's
the power of Unity, I guess.
Yeah.
Or you put a ton in a lot of scripts.
Well, there's a little bit of that. I think I did 6 of these scripts. I did Crab, Game Data, Level Manager, Star Manager. I did 5 of them. Yeah. I think. I don't think I did the auto delete part of it.
Screen Shake gets its own script. I love it. You're saying Lane didn't work on this?
Yes. he did give me input though. He demanded I added a short hop, and the game is better for it.
Yeah. Let's take a look at one of these scripts.
Yeah. The biggest one is probably Crab. That's where all the movement and jumping and stuff is.
Yeah. Okay, so apologies to our viewers. This is Monodevelop.
The best code editor.
Don't say that out loud, Martha.
Rest in peace, Monodevelop. You'll always be the best in my heart.
So as you can see in the script, there's this public float, jump force, short hop force, and pre-jump force. I don't remember what all that means.
Basically,
I love that.
Goodness.
Basically, what happens is that it gets the input, and if it's over a certain threshold, it gets into those. Or
yeah. So I think what happens is I think the pre-jump force is when as soon as you press the A button, there's automatically a jump force because you're going to jump in some way. because that makes it so that like you feel it instantly that you're going to jump.
Mhm.
And then the short hop force must be what you add if you let go of the button after a certain period of time. I think you have like 5 frames to let go of the button.
Yeah.
And then if you hold it for longer, then you get the full jump. I think.
Mhm.
It has been
Should
a
we
long
find
time
the
since I've
jump
looked
in
at
here?
this.
It's jumping. Here we go.
It's jumping. Yep. Jump timer, jump amount of frames. Get player jump, add force jump. Yep. Then it's jump force or jump short hop. But what is it?
It's interesting that all the different ways that you can add jump to a game.
Mm-hmm.
And there's some sort of standards, I guess, but every game is a little different in how it does it.
Yeah.
And one of the sort of you could say inspirations for the what we're doing here with this new video format is recently the developer of Celeste, this brutally hard platformer, released their player controller script. I don't know if through GitHub or just so people could take a look at it, see how it was done, and actually adapt it for their own. Release that as open source, and people on Twitter are looking at it and go, "Oh man, this is messy," and it's kind of like great to see the guts of a thing, and when you're trying to do it exactly the perfect way or get it all exactly right. There's a great screenshot of that script, which just is the closing brackets. And it's just this cascading closing brackets for like 30 lines, which is just like, that's already a bad sign. But that game is like incredibly polished and wonderful. And it just shows you that like, there are some things, sometimes you care about some things, sometimes you care about other things. Mm-hmm. And so it's nice to take a look behind the scenes of some things, see how this all works.
Through working in this game, I have learned to never use add force as a jump function thing in Unity projects, largely because like it's not very precise. So you will jump slightly higher or lower depending on your frame rate and things, and that bothers me a lot.
Yeah,
I want it to be precise.
Unity uses I think Box 2D is its physics engine for 2D, and it's not super popular because it is not all that precise, and so a lot of times there's different ways to control more specific transform changes.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, it does the job, but yeah. I've been doing like just setting the velocity at certain intervals and adding a curve or whatever.
Oh, sure,
myself.
Sure. Incidentally, Metro Nexus, which is not a Unity project at all, I also uses Box 2D, and so I'm familiar with a lot of this API. And it took me a long time to get in a place that felt consistent and logical, and I override its physics decisions a lot. In order to make that work. It is, Unity gives you a lot of options out of the box to do a lot of these things. Not just, but they have like a specific player controller component as well. But there isn't like one way everybody does it.
Yeah, Martha, can you scroll down a little bit?
Yeah.
There's this invincible time thing. I want to know what it is. Is that?
It's when after you get your claw cut off, you blink a little bit.
Yeah,
and then
That's
you
how
can't
I
be.
Did it? Did I do that?
Okay,
maybe
that's an update, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe
it is an update. This is this isn't great. That for each loop. I should have just stored these variables instead of having a for each loop. I coded this 3 years ago, y'all. So just keep that in mind as you see this code.
I mean, I coded some of it too.
Well, I want to ask you about that because one of the specific things I want to ask and about this game in particular is the arm stretching mechanic.
Oh,
and how you actually put that together. And Martha, that was your domain, right?
Yeah, I helped with that. So here's where everything's kind of object oriented with the crab.
Yeah.
So the crab arms and the crab claws all come from. I guess it's not really object oriented, but anyway, they get input from the crab down to the claw.
Yes. Yeah.
So this is where that input happens. So if your arm is there, it will get sent to this event basically. Yeah, so I guess we should go to those scripts. Okay, here's the arm.
Oh man, there's so many public variables.
Yeah.
I like using, I guess I don't know if I did it in this in this code, but I like using serialized field and making them private instead of making them public. Just that's a habit of mine.
Okay,
I
so
think that's
when
the
I
thing
made
you do
this,
to make yourself feel better.
Maybe.
when I made this, I didn't know C# at all.
Oh, sure. Right,
so
right.
I was coming from a JavaScript world where you don't have to make public or private or static or
right.
anything
Okay.
anything like that. It's all they were all public
Right.
variables.
It's a mess
basically.
by design in JavaScript.
Yeah. Hey, JavaScript is cool. Yeah. So a lot of this you'll see, like I wrote stuff that was very JavaScript-y. So yeah. Also, this was I'm not going to hedge anymore.
Well, kudos on using the C# convention of capitalizing your methods.
You're welcome.
Well, no, I mean, I'm being sarcastic. I hate that convention.
Goodness.
Yeah, Widget Satchel is, this is me being bad. On Widget
So you can
Satchel, between Lane, Steven, and I, you know who wrote what method, whether it's C# formatted or everything else formatted.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So this is where it got real weird. Was
Yeah.
all these angles. So what we had to do is figure out which way the analog sticks. Is that what they're called?
Analog.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which way you were pushing them, and then make.
To preempt you a little bit, yeah, because we haven't really described the controls of this game. So
Oh
Yes.
yeah, we should describe the
moving
controls.
left and right,
Definitely should.
I think I can handle this if you guys correct me if I'm
Go
wrong.
for
but
it.
You move left and right with the bumpers, or
Yes.
the L1 or an R1 if you're the PlayStation controller, and then you extend your arms using the triggers. And I think you just press them and that sets them off, or does how hard you press them have any difference?
I don't think it
Doesn't
makes a
matter.
difference.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you have this sort of, you actually can hold it like a claw with each finger, 4 fingers on the shoulder buttons. And then the 2 joysticks are not used for movement. They are for aiming the left arm and the right arm. And that is the hardest, as a player, it's the hardest thing to get used to. But after you play a couple matches, you realize that that's the only way that game can control.
Yeah.
And it gives you a
Yeah.
lot of freedom. And that's really, I think that's like a fun thing about it. It also increases the learning curve for people who are like, say, particularly good at like platformy type games. Everybody comes to Clawbreaker knowing nothing. And that's a great benefit of it. So you're trying to get the input vector of the sticks,
Yeah.
right? To where to send it, right?
Yep. And for a while, because it involves quaternions, which are
know.
these great things that are like.
Outside the scope of this program to
Yes.
explain.
Yeah.
But since I wish we had an old build because it was really funny. Basically, we as we tried to figure out what the right angle input to put in there, the arms would like stretch out sideways, like in like the opposite way they were supposed to, or they would like just grow in size. Like they would just instead of stretching one way, they would just increase both dimensions, like
Yeah.
Oh, whoa.
until they covered the screen.
Oh, no. I'm glad I wasn't there for that. That would have creeped me out.
So yeah, and then we added this taunt thing. So one of the things you can do, one of the dedicated buttons in the control scheme is
Yeah.
for taunting.
Yes.
Where you stick your claws upward and foam at the mouth, basically.
Yeah.
And so we had to like make sure that when you're taunting, that you couldn't then make your arm go, or that
Right.
when you did, it would go the right way.
Yeah. Oh, right, because it takes control of the whole character.
Yeah.
When you taunt, yeah. Which is based on a real thing that crabs do, I guess.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. This is all scientifically accurate. No, it's not.
Even the premise of crabs chopping each other's claws off, that comes from some bit of nature.
Yeah, I think so.
It
Yeah.
does. I don't think that was our intention when we first came up with it. Ava was the one who came up with this idea.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. I did a little bit of the game design. Ava did most of it. But like I was coming at this from like the fighting game background, so I wanted things to be precise and stuff. And I think Ava had butted up against that a bit.
Yeah.
But the product we ended up making is better for it as a result of all the arguing.
Yeah. We'll talk a little bit about the design. So, it is as we were playing, and as I clearly whooped you.
Oh, wow.
Viewers can understand that.
I want a rematch now.
Pass. You beat me at every other game. Give me this.
I know. I'll give you this one.
So if you knock off both the opponent's claws, you win.
Yes.
But as viewers saw, you were going for those stars that appear.
I was.
Sort of at random intervals.
Right.
And if you collect 3 of them, you win the match.
Yeah.
And
Oh, yeah.
my understanding is that was because otherwise players wouldn't, if they didn't engage each other, and fight, then the game match would still had to end for
Yes,
something?
I insisted on that because then there would be camping. Nobody wants to see two crabs just standing around.
And I have to say, I've seen hundreds of matches of Clawbreaker. I have never once seen anyone collect 3 stars, but they always go for the stars, and that brings them out in the open.
Right.
And so
that was the whole design of that.
So it might seem like people aren't using that as a win scenario, but the fact that people go for it ends up leading to the other scenario a lot faster.
I have gotten a few star wins.
Oh yeah,
victories. They're rare. Like they have, and in fact, if you win with the star victory, you get different particles instead of those weird blood particles that come up when you kill one of the other crabs. But I guess they're rare, so no one rarely will see them.
Yeah. Let's take a look at one of the stages.
Yeah.
If you have that as a separate scene.
Yeah. So there are all of these different levels. When you select one of the levels selected, will activate that level. I think what happens is we just activate the background.
Oh, it's down here. I see.
Yeah.
Oh yes, because canvases are enormous.
Yeah.
Yes. So when you pick a level, I think it just activates the background, but not like the actual level. And then when you press start, it will instantiate a level, which includes the 2 crabs.
Yeah.
So you can see in here,
the platforms.
in each level, the crabs are there.
Yeah.
I see. Okay. So this is like jam efficiency.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, the game is not big overall, so you didn't need all of the different scenes and stuff either.
Right.
It's just a bunch of loading that's not necessary. It instantiates all the platforms, instantiates the land. What is the ground?
You mean it activates them all?
No, wait.
Because they're all there, right?
I could have sworn we instantiated them and we just store them somewhere. Can you click the level game object? The levels one? Yeah. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't remember.
You're thinking about how you do things these days.
No, I try not to instantiate things.
Would it be in Get Level Manager?
Let's see that. So the crabs, the current level number. Maybe it doesn't instantiate the level. No, it has a list right there. List new game object. It's static. What
I like about you guys fumbling through this is it shows that when something works, you can forget how it's put together.
Yeah.
It's totally safe to.
Yeah.
I'm definitely very guilty when I go through my code base as I just pass by something that I hadn't seen in a while. I'm like, I'm going to take a look at this and see how I did it, almost for entertainment purposes. And I'm like, I can make this a little better. And then I waste all day on it. And then nothing changes.
Yeah. Can you open up Level Manager? I want to see if I instantiate them or not. Maybe I don't and I just turn them on. Well, but how do the crabs get made?
That's a talk for another time.
Yes, I do. I instantiate it. Current level equals game object instantiate levels. Well, it's right.
Huh.
That's not good. Don't do that.
Look, there's a find call.
Yeah.
You don't like those?
No, I don't like find calls.
They're not. They're a way to sort of fake object-oriented thinking.
Yeah,
a lot of times.
What I should have done was I should have had the level store where the star manager was called.
Yeah, and
then get access to that. Using probably a get component call. Right. But that would have been fine if it was a get component. Just fines are dangerous because if you decide to change the name ever.
Yes. Yeah.
Literally you get rid of a space and then the whole game will break.
Yeah. So much of programming is about making sure that it can be found by the autocomplete. It's true. Anytime I have a string at all in my game, I make it a static constant somewhere.
Yeah.
So that I can use that just so I can find it.
Yeah.
When I'm looking through code completion and I don't have to rely on, because it's so dangerous to accidentally rename something.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's what's happening though. It will create the level.
Yeah.
After a second, I guess, once you start it up, and then it'll create the star manager too, and the star manager will randomly place or activate a star after 5 seconds or something of play, or after you've collected. Oh, I guess it's 12 seconds. Jeez, it's that long, huh?
Yeah, it's funny because time in this game works in a weird way because it's so tense. Especially if you're really into it, you're 15th match or something.
Yeah.
In a row, things take longer than you think, and things go faster than you think.
Right.
It's you lose all sense of reality.
But yeah, I think the star manager knows. Oh, under it has all of the stars under it. Oh, geez, do I use get childs in this too? Go. Can you open up star manager? Oh, I'm scared. I hope I don't, but wow, look at all those instantiate calls. That's good. Goodness. Yeah, if you scroll down, preview next star collected. If you go, can you go to the preview next star thing? It must be down, scroll down further.
Preview new star.
Yeah, this is it. Yep. And it looks, oh, good. I listed them out. There's a list of them. Okay. Go me.
This start list number thing.
Yeah, I don't know why I have a do while. What does that do? This star list, random range. Oh, it just puts them in order, or it puts them in a random order. I think.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But yeah, that's what that
does. So tell me a little bit about what you would add to this if you say wanted to make it like, one of your main projects. Like what were you dreaming at the jam maybe that you didn't get around to or decided against even?
I think we wanted to just add more levels and more crabs.
Yeah.
And like different kinds of crabs.
Like a hermit crab,
Right,
where
yeah.
you could hide in your shell, but then you couldn't move. So,
Yeah. We wanted to have some of that stuff in, but like,
or like one of those crabs that have a really big claw on one side and really tiny claw on the other
Yeah.
side.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see this being a class-based kind of system. Sort of interesting.
mm-hmm.
But yeah, then again, you decided not to do that or didn't have the time for that. But then also even went further back and decided to not even do the color customizations.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
We just ended up not needing it really.
Yeah.
There's enough content in there where it's not important, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I think we would just add more levels and more crabs. At least that's what we had talked about.
Yeah.
We briefly talked about doing a single player, like making an AI
We did.
crab, but then we decided just because we were thinking of that because a lot of places that isn't it Indicate or something, they always want, when you're submitting games, they're like, oh, we want a single player mode
Oh yeah.
on it.
And
But-
not everybody has two controllers. I think we have
It's true.
keyboard controls, but
Yeah. Okay. So we should talk about control.
Oh, yeah.
How we did the controls. So
We should.
there's this awesome thing called Rewired.
it is amazing.
It
You
is.
should basically use this for any.
Please go support Rewired
Yeah.
and buy it because it
Give
is
them money.
so good.
It's really good.
And what Rewire does is it replaces the Unity input system with a not terrible one.
Yes.
Yes. It handles like controllers and stuff, and we'll put them in order for you, and you don't have to deal with that yourself.
Well, take a look at the for people who don't know Rewired. Take a look at the Rewired Manager object. where you
How
can-
do I do that?
Up at the top, there's the scene game
right.
tabs. Yeah,
Rewired.
Yeah, the
editor.
editor.
yep. And then click the Rewired Input Manager. Boom.
So it really is a sort of a interface for a lot, and you can see all of the different platforms. So if you're doing a multi-platform game, you can have different settings. And then I think you have keyboard maps there, and then
Yes.
joystick maps is usually the tab I spend the most time in.
Why are our keys A, B, C, D?
Okay. So my idea was, you can't see my hands, but that, how AWSD is your, is the, usual move buttons.
Uh-huh.
And then you have to do, but the problem is there's so many inputs that you have to put in for these crabs because you have to do the direction up and down of your crabs. So I had Q and Z, I think, be the up and down. Yeah.
Oh, for the arms.
For the arms.
Yeah.
And then a shoot the arms
yeah.
out button. So we had to have two shoot the arms out buttons.
Right.
And then a taunt button and
Real
a jump button for every crab.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
So the normal WSAD metaphor doesn't really hold,
no, it does not.
especially if you want two players on one keyboard,
Mm-hmm.
right?
And I think, there's enough there that we did that?
Yes.
No. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Did you
That's
run
why
out of
they're
letters?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
And you put these in, Martha, as a debug kind of thing, right?
Yes, because I'm on a Mac.
And you were on a Mac when we developed it.
Yes. Yep. And so everyone had Xbox controllers, and for some reason, there's a plugin for Macs that is supposed to run Xbox controllers, but my laptop wouldn't run it. So I added these in so that I could be playtesting it without having to put it on someone else's computer.
Yeah. And then that became a bit of a mantra for you. Because I know when we were working on Listen Up Four Eyes, you were like, we got to put these in right away.
Yeah.
And I was like, nah, it's okay. But like, we have controllers here. But like, it was very smart to make sure you have that situation. And actually, in Metro Nexus, I've taken that to heart, like making sure that anytime I change anything, I have to make sure it's available on the keyboard because I'm not always going to have my controller with me.
Yeah.
I'm not always going to have 2 controllers with me or 4. And so, I think about that a lot, how like you insistent you were on that. Like even if you don't intend for keyboard controls for your game, or if keyboard controls are wrong for your game, like you got to have something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, like, I think we should probably change these around for when it's released. But at the beginning, we tell everyone don't use them. Don't
Literally,
use a controller.
It says, don't be a lobster, play with the controller.
Yeah.
Charles put all those in. They're pretty good.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
So yeah, but that's how Rewired works.
Yeah.
It's pretty nifty.
Yeah. Let's talk about the artwork flow. You mentioned showed some of the assets early on, but Lizzie was your only artist.
Yes.
And you had some dev art.
Yes. Well, Charles did the UI, but
that's right. Yeah. So, I mean, Unity kind of handles most of that yourself. I'm sort of asking this because a lot of the tools I use make it a little bit less easy to do. But did you worry anything about making sure that like resolution matched? Like when you were talking to Lizzie, were you like talking about like how big things need to be as you were designing the game, deciding how things would relate, what changed?
We tried to do that. It was just difficult because I mean, Lizzie literally made 3 of these backgrounds and all these crabs and stuff in 24 hours, which is very impressive.
Yeah.
And I think at the time I did not appreciate how difficult that was. So maybe we like gave Lizzie a bunch of ideas and she just picked something to do and did them herself. But actually in the past, what happened was we had the background art and then we had the platforms. But the platforms didn't always match the background art. If you could like go to the example of the old background art,
this one.
Yeah. So like there's like rudimentary background or rudimentary platforms. You can kind of see them.
Yeah.
And we I think initially tried to match the art work, but like it didn't end up working out very well. So what we ended up doing was literally just having like nasty little rectangular platforms that showed up.
Oh, they were just on top of the art.
They were on top of the art. Yeah.
I played a version of that. Like that. Yeah.
It wasn't great. But yeah, I think what we ended up doing really was we tried to adapt our game design to the art.
Yeah.
And I don't think it was as successful that way. So eventually what happened is we refurbished all of the background art to match the levels that we had originally designed better.
Right.
Yeah, but I think basically we like worked separately, artists and designers and programmers.
Yes, at the jam at least.
Yeah.
Let's talk about music. So
Yes.
Charles, your brother, did the music.
Yes, he did.
And all at the last minute, I heard you say?
I think he may have implemented it in the last minute.
Okay.
But if actually, can you play the game? Can you start it up? Because the way that the music works is like it gets more intense the further you get through the menus.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Hopefully you'll be able to hear it. I'll try to be quiet so that you can hear it.
Okay. So
Winners don't use drugs. Crabs don't use keyboards.
I've never saw that. I didn't know that you had a random.
Yeah, we have a whole bunch of different.
That's really good.
Charles took that, I think, from Fingens later on. So yeah, now you can hear the bass thing. It's just it's like yeah. And then when you click, oh, maybe it's not here, but when you click it, yeah, you hear the rest of the stuff now.
There you go.
Yeah. I don't know if it gets more intense than that, but yeah, we also have options.
I do like the steel drum.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. There's definitely that sort of level of
Oh,
polish.
that doesn't work.
Not
We
in
are
the
in the editor, yeah.
Although working on widgets, actually, I found a great thing where you can just have a if Unity editor compiler thing.
Yeah.
And when you do exit, you can just say pause the or stop the thing. It's a really good way to sort of like simulate the experience.
Test it to make sure it's working.
Yeah.
We should do that.
One of the other things when you were talking about art, I was remembering Lizzie did both the crabs, like this isn't a palette swap. This is like she actually like redrew over the other one. I think.
Oh, really?
She made the crabs to get like this.
Oh yeah.
Like this, and then cut it up.
Yeah.
And then made sprite sheets out of them, like these. Except both the sprite sheets weren't exactly the same. So for a while, green crab would win way more often, and we were like, why is the green crab always winning? Because it's not. That doesn't like statistically, it seems like it's off somehow. And then we looked, and like because of how the code cuts the sprite sheet up, it was the hitbox was slightly smaller on one of the crabs.
Yeah, that's right. I remember that now. Oh yeah, because I think it was like the left arm on the green crab, and the green crab starts on the right side, so the red crab has to like deal with that.
Yeah.
And it's much harder. Oh, I remember that now.
Yeah, so I spent a super long time like making sure that the each crab was exactly the same. I remember that was a whole day of work on that.
It's interesting because I think, going back and like if you had time to architect in advance, you'd make an abstracted like crab object that would then be right. But like, you had the structure you built, and so fixing it was faster than remaking it.
Yeah.
You know? And I think that's a good lesson for a lot of this stuff is sometimes it's okay to just roll with your sort of like questionable choices than undoing all the work that you did.
Man, look at all this art that like didn't even make it in the game. It's unfortunate.
Well, it just shows that, you iterated, right?
Yes.
So any other like, crazy things happened? I'm hearing, like that great sort of unbalance, and that you wouldn't have noticed it until you did a lot of tests, right?
Right.
And this was after the jam. And then, the arms going the wrong direction. But it sounded like the team worked really well together in the jam. And then in the sessions you had afterward, you kind of had a good idea of what to do as you move forward.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sort of, it always impresses me how little time, even though it's been so long in real time, the actual time you spent working on this seems very efficiently spent.
Yeah. It was difficult to get everybody back together after we did the jam.
Yeah.
I mean, there were a whole lot of us, and we all have our own things going on. But we did what we could. I remember when we had finished the game jam version, I actually didn't like that iteration very much. It didn't feel good to me. And then like we did one of those sessions, and then immediately after I was like, oh, this is fun. Okay. I don't remember exactly what we changed, but like it worked out for the better.
Yeah, maybe it's a combination of a couple of little things that makes the difference, that level of polish. Yeah. And this game does have, the UI really shows it. It has that juice, right?
Yes.
That we talk about.
Yep.
And that makes, it is then 10 scripts, goes a long way when you sort of allocate your resources in, to the things that people notice and the things that matter for the game you're working on.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. But there's things you left out, right? Because it's a small game. Like there's nothing saved to disk or anything.
Right.
You do keep running total of stats, right?
I don't think we keep track of stats.
Well, we keep for a single game session, it will keep track of who won the most.
Right. But that just lives in memory, and that just goes away when you close the app. Right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And again, it's a party game, so there's not really a need. I like the things you guys didn't make. I think that impresses me as much as the things you did.
Yeah. I mean, the one thing that we have this like moments recorder thing. It was supposed to at one point you could save a GIF of you winning.
That's right.
And export it to Twitter.
But that got lost somehow.
It
might have been when like we updated Unity or something. I don't know.
Like it kind of broke it, and then you realized you didn't care enough about it to make a new version.
Yeah, we still have. There's still a little like a GIF or something that shows up that shows the moment where you win.
Yeah.
After you complete a match, but we couldn't get it to save anymore. Which I don't know. I kind of missed that because it would be great for social media and stuff.
But of course, Clawbreaker 2.
Oh man, don't do that, Mark.
Clawbreaker 2, Crustacean Combat.
Yeah, tell me about, this is the last thing I want to ask you about, is tell me about like some of those things. Like the name of this game changed a couple times, right?
Yeah, it was initially Crustacean Combat, and because it's a spoof off of Mortal Kombat, but K's and stuff. Yeah, and I think we changed the name to Clawbreaker because like no one would be able to spell crustacean combat,
Right.
Especially since we technically misspelled it for the purposes of the alliteration.
Yeah.
Like no one was going to be able to figure that out, so we changed the name to Clawbreaker.
Yeah.
I like to call the game Crubbittle, CRBBTL, because
I was going to mention when I was meeting all of you guys and you were telling me about this project you had just worked on, you guys were calling it Crab Battle.
yes, we were.
Which I like that name.
I do too, but I mean, Clawbreaker is also cool.
Yeah, Crab Battle is more like matter of fact. Clawbreaker feels like a real project. So
Yeah.
I get it. I get why that's the choice.
But I like calling it that, and like I want our official hashtag to be #Crubbittle. Yes,
That's pretty good.
Oh yeah, we should probably maybe put the gif of Martha doing that dance.
Yeah, we'll put that in the notes.
Yeah, we have a website and everything. I think it's nearly good to go. Well, maybe
It will be by the time this video comes out.
Okay, well, good.
It's claw.
She said with confidence.
Yes,
It's clawbreaker.com.
I believe so. I hope so. Well, we'll put a link in there.
Yeah.
So the official one.
Well, thanks guys for cracking it open and showing me the guts of the thing. I think like it's fun to see. I mean, there's a lot of this stuff I didn't know about how this game was made, and it's fun to see these things. And we're going to do more of these going forward. Next month, Martha, we're going to be talking about your VR experiments that you and your brother had done. And by now you've presented and demoed, and that's going to be really fun. We're going to look at Metro Nexus, which I feel like every time, Steven, you have the same thing when you talk about your projects on the show. You're like, I feel like I'm talking about this too much.
Yeah.
But like, I feel the same way, but like, I want to show you some of the things I've been talking about. And so, and maybe Steven will convince you to let us look at Fingens and bring some of the team on the show to talk about it. And if you're a developer who wants to give it this treatment, and you're local and you want to have us ask you these questions and tell us what cool things you made, let us know. And viewers, let us know what you think of this format, what we could do better and what you liked about it. And what more do you want to see? What kind of questions should we be asking and what should we be looking at? Because we're pretty excited about this.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching. Code Comment is just one part of our game dev program, Nice Games Club, which, if you're nice, you can subscribe to on YouTube as well as wherever you get your podcasts. Be sure to follow us on Twitter and all the other things at Nice Games Club. And if you want to know more about the show, your nice hosts, or anything else, you can do that at nicegames.club.
So until we start again, remember to
Play nice.
And make nice.